All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this SOLIDWORKS 22-minute webinar. This one is introducing 3D Experience SOLIDWORKS, your next generation design solution. We're going to jump right in and get started as we have a lot to cover in a short amount of time. We're going to try to keep it within 22 minutes. We may go a little longer as there's a lot of content here. With that, before we jump into our first poll question, I want to introduce our two presenters today. First of all, Gian Calisi is an industrial process consultant at Dassault Systems SOLIDWORKS. His background is in mechanical engineering, and he's worked as a freelance mechanical designer before coming to work with us at Dassault Systems SOLIDWORKS. John Martirano, of course I'd messed that up. Sorry, John is an industrial process consultant as well with Dassault Systems SOLIDWORKS and works with a background in aeronautical engineering. He's also a certified commercial pilot and flight instructor as well. John has been with SOLIDWORKS since 2012. And with that, Gian, are we gonna jump right into the poll question, sir?
Sure thing. Let's do it.
All right, excellent. So if you see on your screen, first question, which of the following challenges do you or your design team regularly encounter? 62% collaboration followed by data management. So this is good. We're in the right place.
Wow.
Excellent. Gian, it's all you.
Yes. Thanks, Cliff. Yeah, definitely in the right place here. So thank you for that introduction. And today we're going to be talking about the new 3D Experience SOLIDWORKS, as Cliff said, and how your team will be able to use it to your benefit. Now, this is a new product, but it's really an older product, desktop SOLIDWORKS, that we all know and love, that's now completely connected to the 3D Experience platform. So let's just take a look at the team and how we can benefit. Now, many teams have had to adapt to the new normal of working from home and being a little less connected to each other. So for our SOLIDWORKS users out there, we know just how difficult design collaboration can be from afar. Teams are facing challenges with mobility, being able to get the job done regardless of your device or location, being able to securely store all your data and access it easily, being able to reduce your costs when it comes to IT and manage all of your design, product, and lifecycle data. And then, of course, being able to work with your team, communicate, collaborate, and share your designs and ideas and more. The one that over 65% or some odd answered yes to that question just now. So we know that that's definitely a big one. So let's take a look at our team. Now, there are a lot of existing solutions out there that many of us already use. Now, VPN connections are one solution to getting that secure storage, but connections can be slow, folder permissions can be cumbersome to configure, and the servers need to be backed up on a regular basis depending on how it's set up. So we also have our more generic cloud storage solutions that do offer a higher degree of flexibility, but they don't understand, they're not CAD aware. They don't understand the interdependencies between SOLIDWORKS files. So you could end up in a design review and all of a sudden your assembly parts and drawings files all become broken. And then when sharing content externally, the recipient needs to have some relevant software installed to actually review your design. Now, we've all been guilty of storing things on our hard drive before, and that's all fine, but the data does become siloed after a while, and then actually exchanging files requires more collaboration. So we end up a part of hundreds of email strings with thousands of megabytes of attachments all stuck on there. And it just gets so difficult to keep track of everything. So that's typically how many of us are getting by today, but perhaps not as efficiently as we could be. Using SOLIDWORKS in combination with the 3D Experience platform offers some massive advantages. The 3D Experience platform is a cloud-based environment right in your browser, connecting all design project stakeholders, ideas, design data, and solutions. And this platform is SOLIDWORKS focused with a plethora of tools for really every member of your team. Project management, data and lifecycle management, design tools, 3D preview and markup tools, simulation, built-in collaboration at every corner, and so much more. 3D Experience SOLIDWORKS is the same SOLIDWORKS that you know and love, but with the added connection to this 3D Experience platform, allowing you to design with your favorite CAD tool, SOLIDWORKS, but host all of your design data in secure cloud folders. You can manage all of the design data and lifecycle data in your browser, as well as communicate with your team. A true one-stop shop for everything you need. And of course, sharing data and content with project stakeholders is a breeze and built right into your daily routine. To see this in action, we'll turn to our friends Megan Manager and Eric Engineer. Megan's team has fully adopted the 3DEXPERIENCE platform for all of their needs. Eric has all the tools he needs to design and collaborate with 3DEXPERIENCE SolidWorks, and Megan doesn't need SolidWorks or really any CAD tools as the manager, though she does have plenty of data management and 3D preview tools, as well as her project management tool to organize her team's tasks, deliverables, and milestones. We'll be using the BioDepth prosthetic as the subject of our workflow today and show how Megan and Eric collaborate to work on the next generation of prosthetics.
So, we need to give credit where credit is due, though. So big shout out to Mike Schultz, the inventor and designer of the BioDepth prosthetic. So for those of you who don't know who Mike is, he was an athlete all his life but lost one of his legs in an accident years ago. Mike didn't let this stop him from competing, and he turned himself into an engineer to develop the perfect prosthetic amputee or prosthetic for amputee athletes of his caliber. Mike's hard work is paying off, and he's been able to get back into competition with his new leg in the Paralympics. So to learn more about Mike Schultz and his story, you can visit monstermikeschultz.com. And of course, to learn more about BioDepth Inc., Mike's prosthetic company, you can visit www.biodeptinc.com. Thank you for letting us borrow your model, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Mike. But let's get back to our friends Megan and Eric. Now, we'll start off with Eric, who's just going through a typical day. He has all the tools he needs to design efficiently from any device anywhere with best-in-class CAD tool SolidWorks. And he can launch this SolidWorks either from a desktop shortcut or from right in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform in his browser. To jump into editing, Eric will just need to reserve the part and assembly files that he wants to work on, just so that nobody else on his team will be editing them at the same time. After reserving these components, it's pretty much business as usual. He can just casually go about his day completing the 3D model from the latest prosthetic. Looks like Eric has just a few hole wizard features to adjust as the final steps for this, just making sure those hole sizes are right. And now Eric is just about done with his part of this model and ready to hand it off. So he can then go back into the 3DEXPERIENCE window of SolidWorks and then just save both of these parts that he just worked on. After those are all saved and synced up to the cloud again, he can then go back and unreserve them so that anybody else on his team can go back into editing that overarching assembly or the part that he was just working on. And now that Eric is just about done with this model for now, he'll need to let his manager know. Luckily, Megan Manager assigned him a task in collaborative tasks to complete this model, which he can launch right in the 3DEXPERIENCE window here, and now we can see the tasks assigned to Eric. Eric can find the one he's working on in the in-work column called Design Completion and Validation, and he can jump into the task and make adjustments as needed. The only thing Eric really needs to do is to add this final model as a deliverable just by searching in the window, and then when he finds the one he's looking for, he can just simply click that appropriate result and then save out this task, and he is almost all set until we get to the final step, what I think is the most satisfying step, taking this task in progress and dragging and dropping it into the completed column. Now I think is a great time to switch things up.
So let's take a look from Megan's point of view. Megan is instantly notified when this task is set to complete, and she can take a look from her end right in the browser. In fact, she uses the 3DEXPERIENCE platform to manage all of her projects. She has set up all of her milestones and tasks for all of her ongoing projects, and she can see the status of all these tasks right from here. She can jump into any task and make edits as needed, and in this case, Megan's just wanting to check out Eric's progress with the model. So she can drag the file and the deliverables here into another tab where she can jump into a 3D preview. This preview includes tools like exploded views and section views. So right now we get a good look at what an exploded view is like. Then we can jump into the section tool just as easily. But Megan is likely going to want to mark this up. So she can easily do this by drawing on the screen. She can make a circle to circle certain areas of the model, and she can even add text and throw in a couple arrows that point to the areas she's talking about. Now, Megan is ready to communicate this back to Eric, so she could publish this image to one of her design communities in the collaboration tool 3D Swim, or she could just save it and then go back to the task and add it as an attachment just by dragging and dropping. Megan can set this task to the in progress state, and then of course she'll leave a comment for Eric right on the task to let him know what she wants him to do. All right, so Eric will get a notification when this happens, but maybe Megan's in a rush and needs this done now. She can turn to the collaboration tool 3D Swim and start a conversation with Eric. She can write him a personal message that he can get instantly. So in this particular case, she's going to say, "Hi Eric, can you take a look at the comment/attachment in that task?" And that's code for "you're not doing it fast enough. I need you to do it a little bit quicker, please."
You might be right, John. So now that Megan has sent that task back to Eric, let's take a look and see what Eric can do from there. Now, Eric sees this message pop up in real time, and it shows up in the 3D Experience window of SolidWorks, which he can click on that message to jump into the platform right in a new browser window. Eric takes note of Megan's message. He can let her know that he's on the job, and then when he's ready, he can actually jump into his tasks and take a deeper dive into what Megan's talking about. Notice that Eric only sees tasks assigned to him right now because he's actually in a different app called Collaborative Tasks. And we're actually able to customize this view so that now he can actually see all of his tasks based on the due date. And it looks like it's just the one task at hand, design completion and validation, that's due tomorrow, that we're trying to finish up right now. So let's actually take a look at this task. We can jump into any task just by clicking on it, revealing all the details, and we can take a closer look at the comment to see what Megan is actually asking for. Looks like she left us an attachment that we can just drag into the same 3D Play application that Megan used to actually create this file. Now, Eric can take a look at this here, and once he's taken note of the changes Megan is asking him, he can simply jump back to SolidWorks. He's already reserved those components he wants to adjust, and he's jumped into an isolated view of the one he wants to edit. Now, we can simply convert a couple faces to sketches and then just cut a hole right through this, since this is really just a quick investigation of if this idea has any legs. Eric has access to all the tools available with SolidWorks Simulation Premium, so he can set up some fixtures and maybe add some forces, and right from there, just run this simulation. Once this is run, we can take a look at these results, and you can see from the little color wheel on the side here that it looks like the max stress that this whole part encounters is actually far below the yield strength of the material, which we show at the bottom. Beautiful. So it looks like this idea just might work. We can then jump back to the browser and finish the conversation we were having with Megan to let her know that this idea may actually work, and Eric is just going to go investigate it a little bit more now on his own so he can finish up that task for tomorrow. So with that, I think now that Eric is busy again, maybe we'll let Megan take over one more time.
All right, so Megan sees these messages come in from Eric. Good news so far. She'll probably want to reach out to her team and let them know what's going on, though. Megan has a few options, but for this case, using her design community in the 3D Swim app will work great. So everyone on her team is invited to this community, and everyone can see the common feed of activity. And Megan can just make a generic post as a status update to let the team know that the model is nearly complete. Megan may want to add the same screenshot she just gave Eric, so she can drag that and drop it right into a swim post. And now that it's all loaded, Megan can simply click publish when she's ready, and now everyone else on the team can comment or like this post or any other post in the community. And there are so many little functionalities built into each post type. For example, questions can be answered by anyone in the community, but the person who asked the question or the owner of the community can actually validate an answer, making it easier to keep the team up to date with valid information as they need it. There are so many other post types available in 3D Swim, like questions, wikis, and surveys, just to name a few. My favorite is the ideas, though. Anyone can post an idea, and the community can be filtered to show only the ideas of that community. Community owners like Megan can place ideas in different phases of the ideas pipeline. And from this filtered view, we can actually jump into an amazing graphical representation of our ideas pipeline. We can easily jump into any of our phases here, and Megan actually customizes all of these phases to her liking. So from here, we can also jump into individual ideas and make adjustments to keep all of our ideas up to date. And I think that just about wraps up this workflow.
Yes, it does. This workflow with Megan and Eric that we just went through was for more simple and informal design changes, though we do want to point out that there are actually so many other options for more formal design changes with things like change actions, more extensive markup and management tools, but we simply don't have enough time to show you everything, or we'd quite literally be here for days. What we've seen so far, though, is pretty outstanding. Being able to model with SolidWorks and still be fully connected to the cloud is truly amazing. That being said, imagine if you could do everything in your browser, even CAD. So I think, Cliff, we have another poll question we're ready to launch just to gauge what our audience thinks about trying to do things right from in the browser.
Excellent. Thanks, Gian. How prepared do you and your team feel transitioning to fully cloud-based design tools? I know this is a common question for many out there. So the biggest response, 48%, my team is not prepared for quite a transition to this move. Not a surprising result, huh, Gian?
No, not a surprising result, but I think that we can make it easy. So, John, if you want to pick things up right from there.
Absolutely. So, well, lucky for you, we have some amazing cloud-based CAD applications that require no downloads or no installs. 3D Creator and 3D Sculptor roles on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform gives you access to the cloud-based parametric modeling app XDesign and the cloud-based subdivision modeling app XShape. So if you're familiar with SolidWorks already, then there really is no learning curve because so much of the interface and functionality parallels SolidWorks. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. The model that we've selected to showcase these tools is the Tyrum you see on screen. So let's dive into XDesign. This is the first app we use to design the Tyrum demo. So we'll create a new component and give it a name. As we just discussed, we can start 3D modeling by creating a 2D sketch. To save some time, we added a speed ramp to the video making the sketch, and the first sketch you see on screen has a center line. This is a good indication that we're going to use a revolve command. Pulling up our revolve command, we have the option to fully revolve or specify a certain angle to revolve. We chose to revolve our feature 72 degrees around its axis, and this will represent a fraction or 1/5 of the top rim of our model. The second sketch is the hub of the rim, and the same principle applies, but now you might be wondering what our plan is considering we have 1/5 of our model. Don't worry, this is intentional. Seems as though our tire rim encompasses 5 equal sections. We could just produce one of these sections without having to duplicate our efforts and create 4 other equal parts at a later time. So now that we have both of the features we set out to create an X design, let's make a transition to our subdivision tool, X shape. So this is just as easy as hitting the X key on our keyboard. And as we do this, the apps at the bottom of the screen change from parametric tools to the sub-D tools, but the part stays in the graphics window. And it's important to note that we can jump back and forth between X design and X shape as much or as little as we want to. So to start an X shape, we select from a list of what are called primitive shapes. These shapes are the building blocks of your model. So unlike starting with a 2D sketch, you already start with a 3D model. And if we see the list on the left-hand side, we get a lot of options like spheres, toruses, and other prismatic shapes. And for our purposes today, we're going to use a box to start modeling. So dragging this in, we notice that there are a bunch of lines that can be changed at our discretion with these toggle switches. And these lines are control segments called loops that we can use to manipulate our model. Less is always more when starting with loops, but we can always add more as we need. And we also have the option to select symmetry about any plane we want. So we can see we get a green line, and now when we pull on one side of our model, the other side will mirror our movement. You can think of our primitive model as a digital hunk of clay that we can push and pull into shape with a robot tool, which is there for you to be able to translate, rotate, and scale any selection of entities. And based on the number of faces, points, or loops you've selected, that dictates how our model is pushed and pulled into place. Creasing a line to make a sharp edge is as easy as selecting a line and pressing the crease command. We can do that again on the bottom as well. Removing a loop is just as easy. Just grab the edge or line we want to get rid of and click the delete key on your keyboard. We can also pan to the side plane so that our adjustments are only done in the side profile. We can make these adjustments for both the front and the side plane relatively easily. So let's add some more control loops on the top, and pushing and pulling creates an indented shape in our model to make our spoke pop. And now we can see our model will really start to come to life. Of course, we just need to select the appropriate segments and then push and pull them into place. So making some finite adjustments like adding draft really goes a long way in making this a stylistic masterpiece. Making all the bodies the same is as simple as selecting the combine feature and making the selections right from the graphics window. Now, as we said, we can jump back and forth between X shape and X design as many times as we want to, and that's exactly what we're going to do to finish up with some cuts in X design. The first order of business is to cut away this extra hunk of material on top. And what we did to do this was create a surface, and then we can select a split command and use the cylindrical surface that we made to separate the extra material into a separate body. And from here, obviously, it's very easy to then just select a command to actually just get rid of and delete that body. Now, adding fillets is as easy as pressing the S key and selecting the fillet option in the pop-up window. We can also take advantage of advanced functionality in XDesign that suggests additional fillets based on previous selections. Super time saver there. And of course, it wouldn't be much of a functional tire rim if we didn't have a bolt hole to put onto the car itself. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Putting our model together is as easy as using our circular feature pattern command. Selecting the correct number of instances, we get a nice orange preview, click the green check, and wow. We get an absolutely amazing final model that we can use. Switch in between apps is very easy. So we really do hope you enjoyed seeing how both XShape and XDesign work together to create a beautiful model that with traditional surfacing methods would literally have taken at least triple amount of the time. So just to recap, 3D Creator and 3D Sculptor are roles on the 3D Experience platform, and they encompass parametric and subdivisional modeling tools that are entirely browser-based. So all you need is an internet connection, and you can log in from anywhere on any device whenever inspiration strikes. So you might be wondering how you can get your hands on these tools, and that's where I'm going to hand it over to Gian, who's going to discuss the offers for us.
Thanks, John. Yeah, so let's take a look at what the offer actually is. Now, as always, we have our standard, professional, and premium offers. So I'm going to go through the premium right now, just because why not start at the top? So what's included is 3D Sculptor, one role on the platform that gives you access to that subdivision tool that John was just using to make that tire rim, as well as the other one, XDesign, part of the 3D Creator role. So those are both included in the premium offer, as well as the 3D Experience SolidWorks Simulation Designer and the 3D Experience SolidWorks Premium, which those two roles just give you access to the same SolidWorks you know and love, as well as the same the same simulation on SolidWorks that you know and love, and now completely connected to the cloud. And these four roles all sit on top of the two prerequisite roles, the kind of minimum barrier to entry roles that are Collaborative Industry Innovator, which gives you that baseline data management, task management, and lifecycle management capabilities, as well as the other prerequisite role, Collaborative Business Innovator, which gives you the basic cloud storage, collaboration, and 3D preview tools, and so much more. So really, those two bottom roles are what all of the other tools on the 3D Experience platform are kind of propped up on. So that's the premium offer, and let's just take a look at the other offers next to standard and professional. So if we go from premium to professional, we're just losing our simulation designer, and if we go down to standard, then we're also losing 3D Sculptor. But we do realize that a lot of our viewers on the call right now did mention that they're just not ready to make the transition, but that's where these offers come into play. Maybe you're not ready just yet, but this offer makes fiscal sense to you and your company, and then you basically get a nice free test run to drive through it and see what you like of 3D Sculptor and 3D Creator before you actually commit to transitioning to one or both of them. So with that, I think that just wraps us up enough, Cliff. I think we might have some time for some questions now, correct?
Yeah, we're a lot of great questions coming in. So first of all, Gian, John, thanks. That was an excellent presentation. I know we ran a little long. Thanks everybody for staying on with us, but we got some really good questions here.